Hey guys, welcome back. Um, so there's some unfortunate news that happened today, and it's very sad for us who grew up listening to her music, watched many of the movies she was in, but unfortunately, the woman who wrote "I Will Always Love You," Jolene, I work nine to five. Dolly Parton passed away today. She was 80 years old, but those people out there that really were huge Dolly holics, meaning that loving Dolly, even if you didn't, that's the thing with Dolly Parton is even if you didn't listen to her music, or you didn't obviously watch any of her movies she starred in, there was still something about Dolly Parton you like. And of course, she was the godmother of Miley Cyrus as well. Um, but one of the things I liked about Dolly Parton was, and I have to look at the date and I want to get this correct, but she played a show way back when in Tokyo, but Dolly Parton. But that's the thing about Dolly Parton is that she never had any kids of her own. But basically, she didn't want to have kids because she was, as I said, she was a philanthropist, so she incredibly rich. And of course, she had her own amusement park. Um, but again, she was somebody who definitely didn't want to devote her time having children because having children's a huge responsibility. Dolly Parton, Tokyo. So yeah, she has performed. So she performed a notable concert series in Tokyo on July 30th, 1979, during her first major concert tour of the country. The performance in 1979, she sang 20 songs to a crowd of 1,600 people during her Tokyo stop. But in the later ties in 1990, her Dollywood company also briefly explored a concept to develop a Dollywood theme park in Japan with a Tokyo based firm. But when she arrived in late July 1979, she held a press conference and engaged with Japanese media photographers before her concert performances. But though that was one of the many things that I did do a lot of thing, or at least research before, is that her show in 1979 in Tokyo, which, I mean, the whole the whole concept of her having her own companies, and she was a philanthropist, meaning that I hate to say it, she was rich. She was like Tony Stark in the Marvel movie. She was a philanthropist, meaning, and that's the thing. Dolly Parton, growing up, she wasn't rich at all. She was quite poor. And that's the thing, is when you work your ass off like that, that money is gonna come in fast. It could come in through progress, but she worked her life. But, as I said, I will say, if she had kids, I hate to say it, but I mean, that's the thing. She had to make that choice not to have children, because obviously she wanted to continue her philanthropist career in her music. So, but that's many. I mean, that's the thing, is that when you and your partner possibly plan to have children, you kind of have to play it by ear, play it by the fact that I don't want to lose my music or whatever I'm doing for a career, but you want to start a family. It's much more it's more of going back and forth. But some musicians even work from home too. Like my neighbor next door, he's a full-time musician, and he works from home when he creates music. But it is quite unfortunate about the loss of Dolly Parton. But, where now she's in heaven with her parents and other family members. She's in she's in God's hands. But again, we lost a legend. I mean, we've lost, so far this month, that I can count, three people. Obviously, we lost Hayden Panettiere, and then, like, a day after, we lost Frank Beard, the drummer for ZZ Top. And now the unfortunate events and loss of Dolly Parton, one of the true legends that I would say, helped build America, helped shape America. And the fact she had her, like, own dessert and cake mixes out in stores, her own ice cream. It's like, I didn't see her ice cream in the store today, but I do hope they do not take that out of the grocery stores. I feel like people that I idolized her so much. I mean, that's the thing. Her death is still her passing is still going to inflict a lot of people by keeping what she had going, hopefully to continue on. Because again, she is in heaven, but it doesn't mean that her legacy cannot continue, cannot move forward. But, a woman who came from a family that was poor and put all of her work in becoming rich, but all obviously working for it, being a movie actress and also being a musician, going up on stage with other big stars like Kenny Rogers. Um, there are many more. I mean, she had to cancel her two recent tours, and so it definitely sounds like that she was prepared of what was going to happen. Because I think if she was able to do it, she knew she wouldn't have canceled her two tours she had currently scheduled. So I will I will say that something definitely happened. She caught it. She knew, actually she didn't just catch it, she knew it. She knew what was going to happen, and obviously, and it's smart when you know when something might be happening. It's best to say, "Hey, I can't do this. I need to cancel this." But I mean, it sounds like when those cancellations happen, she knew something was going to happen. As I said, health wise, it sounds like that's what is kind of the incurrent. I don't know the cause of her death, but it might have to do with her health. And of course, she was older too. She passed away at 80. So she lived an incredible long life. But it is sad for the fans and her loved ones that are still here, you know, that she's gone, but she's now in God's hands. But Dolly Parton carried on a legacy of what what America always should have been, and not what it is today. Through politics and stuff like that. Because one of the many things I learned and have seen many interviews with Dolly Parton speaking is that you could be down with no money, but it still doesn't mean you can't go out and still enjoy life, embrace its challenges, and keep moving forward. Even if you don't decide to have children in the future, that is a choice that you have to make. And I didn't know Dolly Parton at all growing up. She wasn't often an artist that a lot of kids in my school spoke about. Most of the girls I went to school with, it was a lot of boy bands like One Direction, Justin Bieber, Cody Simpson, Hunter Hayes, but a lot of boy bands that girls liked in my school. but I got a package today in the mail, and I feel like it doesn't. So I thought it was my medical stuff, but it doesn't say anywhere that says medical. So this is definitely what I ordered, and I swear I ordered something off Amazon. But if this is, I'm just gonna double check because, as I said, it typically will say medical supplies. So, and I doubt this is medical because it would say on the shipping label. But we're gonna find out just for sure. It's kind of bizarre. If it is an Amazon package, typically you get an Amazon box, but let's see. All right. No, it isn't. So yes, it is the package I ordered off Amazon. Perfect. So you guys, you know how much I love Metazoo. Well, we have it. This is the Metazoo starter deck. This is actually a original starter deck. This is actually one of them, but this is the Paul Bunyan starter deck. I do have. I'll actually go pull out my my Metazoo binder, but hang on, I'm gonna go grab that and. All right, so, but yeah, we have Babe the Chibi Blue Ox. But each of these original starter decks comes with a. So 140p. What? Yeah, it comes with the. I know the. So these are called spell books. These starter book or start. But I'm really glad we got the Paul Bunyan one. Wow. So this is actually a really good deck, but it says, "Hi all, some call me Hotawag, but you can call me Leia Forest." Call me Leia. Forest was actually we'll take off the wrapping so we can read it better. But I did want to show you guys my packs I opened up and what I got in the packs the other day. So these are from recent sets of Metazoo. But we got the cryptid so we got a triple rare, I think that's what this one is a Jorogamo. But this is the cryptid that I'm using as a male villain in my Japanese writing about Ellen. But this is kind of like the enemy of the book, but obviously through what I'm writing about this cryptid, it's male, but in Japanese folklore, it's a female shapeshifter, but she turns from a spider into like a spider woman with with eight with 8 legs. She can weave and she's very dangerous, but it's called a Jorogamo. We have Raijin. He is the drum of war, or the thunder sound the drums. He strikes without mercy, but never without purpose. But another cryptid from Japan. Of course, he is the element of lightning. We have a water aura, fox totem, chain lightning, water in a bottle, fire in a bottle. We've got Big Bird. This is from southern Texas. By the time you ask, can you tell me how to get to Sesame? It will have already pecked your eyes out. Oh, I get it. Sesame Street, Big Bird. We got Electrify, Splash. So another snow snake. I think we did get the snow snake. Yeah, we did. We've got the Gigi bird. Captain's Log Day 16. I followed the Gigi bird song and I have been lost for days, which is a cryptid from Alaska. We have a double rare, which is the Sewer Gator from New York City. Another water aura. We've got the Calipodi. Happy hum. On play, tap this creature. If you love beautiful music, this is not the cryptid for you. Of course, we've got a duplicate of the Cyclops. We've got an elemental cryptid called the Water Elusive. Life begins with water. What happens when water hides away from life? Unmapped. So it's an unmapped cryptid. Duplicate of Ohio Grassman buried in ice. Electrical surge. We've got a hollow rare Impundlu. We have this one already, but we'll put it with our common variant. We have a rare. We have the Chimera from Greek mythology, from Turkey. It is the animal that has the body of a canine, the head of a lion, head of a goat, and the tail of a snake. Next up, we've got the Cumberland Dragon. Cumberland Gap, USA. So we actually got 2 rares and in 30 packs. Three double rare. So actually double rare, and then actually the Jorgamo is a triple rare. So we got 2 double rares and the triple rare. Actually ultra rare, not triple, ultra rare. We got Jetsam, which is an equipment token. We've got the Beaver Shark. Until it strikes, no one thinks to scream beaver, but it's crossed between a shark and a beaver. From Pine Mountain, Georgia. We've got the Furfar. Children aren't told every story about flying reindeer. From the Stormy Coastlines. We have Kishi. 2 faces, charm, Kishi wins, harm you lose. This guy looks like Two-Face from Batman, except for the tail. But yeah, this cryptid is it's a beast hybrid shapeshifter from Central Africa. Sewer Geyser. Electrical Surge. Roost. And then we have a rare. This is Brody Rogers. But he's a caster, not tamer. Caster is what they call them. But we'll put these guys in the binder. But I'm excited to see the Paul Bunyan You alright, Mom?
You on the
yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a little dance.
No, Jen.
Sure?
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, I'm gonna put the Beaver Shark. We'll put Kishi there. Mimi. Hey, buddy. You miss me, Ma? What?
I don't know if he wants to go out or what he wants.
Do you need to go out?
He's probably calling maybe about what food. I don't know.
Do you want foodies? I know, I'm coming. I'm working on it. I'm coming. Oh shit. You smell like fish. Alright, we'll go out. Okay? We'll go out. I know. Alright, the Chimera is gonna go. Actually, we're gonna put him next to the Phoenix. I think he'd look cool. And we'll put our Firehawk. You good boy. Alright, I'm gonna go take Thor out, guys, and then I'll be back. Come on, pal. Let's go.
Excuse me.
Good boy. Get Mimi. Get Mimi.
Should we go to the bathroom?
He poops.
Good boy.
Oh, shit. Freaking fool. He started jumping up on the bed. Look, look, look. You're not coming up. You're too crazy. Yeah, he wanted to play out there. After he pooped, he kept going up on the deck, going down the ramp, going up the deck, going down the ramp. He had to zoom in. No.
Likes himself, doesn't he, tonight? Wants to have fun.
And then he was looking for Dad. He came in and I said, go get Papa. He goes running down, goes in the office. I said, he's not there. He didn't see him in the patio.
Yeah.
Alright, guys. Sorry, I had to let my dog outside so he could do his business. But I thought it'd be cool. Also, too, I wanted to give a shout out to some of the people that actually I looked at my what is it? Like, you can go on like your YouTube studio and like see like geography wise who views your videos, but 13% were from the US and 16% are from India, and 1%, so one viewer of mine, actually, whoever you are, viewed my video. There was another one, but I only have one from Bangladesh, which is in Southeast Asia. But whoever any of you are, I just wanted to say I am incredibly grateful, and thank you for viewing my videos. But in honor of doing that, I would love to list some, actually at least do a full video of the world, actually of Bangladesh dangerous animals, which some of these animals are going to be a lot similar of animals they have in India, but Bangladesh has a couple animals, I will say, that are really interesting, that if I were, and they have actually one of the most rarest animals there that are actually, unfortunately, there's not many of them left. But I definitely, maybe tonight I'll rank the top 10 on my list dangerous animals from Bangladesh. And I will say a good majority of them are going to be snake species. And there's a couple that I can think of. Actually, there's one species in particular that actually is, so it's a myth, but back in the Vietnam War, there was a snake that it was a myth that this snake would kill you within 2 steps. But they called it the two-step snake. So if you got bitten by this snake, you would die in just 2 steps in the war. And as I said, it was a myth, meaning it wasn't 100% real. It was not real, and that a snake's venom would not kick in that fast. Um, however, though, there is a snake species in Bangladesh, and there's different species of these kinds of snakes. They're called uh, crates, but there's the common crate, the Indian crate, the banded crate. But the banded crate was the snake that was actually mentioned about 2 feet of depth. Like getting bit by this snake, you could only walk 2 steps. But a snake's venom, unfortunately, isn't that powerful. Um, but that's the thing. A crate, if you get bit by one of those, the pain. So the bite isn't what you need to watch out for, because the bite is painless. It doesn't swell or anything like that. But however, these snakes are dangerous for the toxins within their bite. The bacteria in the bite. So what happens is when this snake bites, the bite doesn't, as I said, doesn't have a pain at all. I mean, people say they feel numbness, but it is still an extremely dangerous snake, and you do not want to. You want to go to the hospital right away. No, there's no getting around it. Phone call, go to the hospital. Because this snake, the aftermath of what this snake does can kill people. And it takes about 1 to 6 hours for this neurotoxin to take full effect into somebody's system. But it will lead to things related to weakness in your muscles, respiratory failure, meaning having a hard time breathing. That actually, in cases in hospitals, being hooked to a machine would save your breathing, meaning that if the venom is not out, you would have to be always hooked to that machine in the hospital. But this snake's bite is incredibly serious, and the common crate is actually one of the top 4 deadliest snakes in Asia. But the other 3 are the Russell's viper, the sawback something like saw. It's either, but it's much smaller than the Russell's viper and then the Indian cobra. Now, between cobras and crates, cobras have a bite that is painful. People describe it as, especially getting bit by an Indian cobra, immediate effect like a kite bite. But cobra bites have much more of a painful, have basically an automatic acting pain. They say it's like a burning sensation, but really bad. And wherever you're bit will swell up. But a kite bite, it's really the hour to 6 hour full effect. It's literally, their bite is like a drug going into your. That's what a neurotoxin is a kind of drug. But it's within drugs, but still, a bite from a kite is incredibly. It's almost basically like you don't feel it between 1 to 6 hours, and when you go to bed, it starts happening. So it's literally like a nightmare in your sleep that you're never gonna wake up. But if not treated right away, people can go into polaric shock. Um, as I said, they can respiratory failure, meaning that um, but blocking your oxygen. But yeah, these bites are quite serious, and there is not an active anti-venom for that certain species of snake, unfortunately, of a crate snake. Like, they don't have anti-venom specifically for that species. But anyways, I'm gonna do some rearranging with these cards because I let's see. Yeah, so we need to move the Serbian dancing lady, the Quinbanak from. It's a cryptid from. Well, it's a creature myth from Puerto Rico. We've got the Stick Man of Clark County and the Gray Man. And here is where my electric-based cryptids are. And we have the but we've got the we got Ray John, the Tokyo cryptid. We have the Gray Man. Actually, we're gonna put the Stick Man of Clark County first. Yeah, this is the Stick Man. Run, Stick Man, run. The Serbian dancing lady from Serbia, Serbia, Puerto Rico. And then we've got the Gray Man. Banshee of the Badlands. Almeraki. That's another Japanese cryptid. We got the fur for it. Big Bird. Big Bird is gonna go. Actually, we're gonna move these guys too. The Wampus Cat. The Flying Manta Ray Cockatrice. Mike the Headless Chicken. Got Garuda. cool. So we've got all of our, and we're gonna move our water cryptids. We've got at least one page. Put the sewer gator there. We've got the Shunahok, the Tisserok, the Nanook, the Bear God. We've got the Deep Star 4000. We got Mishapeshu. Mishapeshu. It's Mishapeshu. Something like that. Atabe. Atabai. 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 The Yig. We've got the Squonk, the Bloop, and the Snow Snake. Sewer alligator. We'll put those guys together. The Atabe. We got the Nanook, the Spirit Bear, the Bloop. Yeah, the thing that ended up being an iceberg and not a whale. I remember that. Okay, yeah, that's right. So they got the east. All right, we do have them in order now. All right. And then we've got our caster right here, Brody Rogers. Okay. So we got them all in order. Perfect. Right, like exactly how as we want them. So let's get into this now. So this is the Paul Bunyan starter deck. I want to read a little bit about it. So we're gonna take the wrapper off. But before we it includes the deck, one sealed holographic promo card, one metallic coin, one booster pack, and one rule book. As Paul Bunyan searches for his beloved friend, he stumbles upon a tree of Sasquatches hiding in the forests. Communing in grass-made nests, they have allied with Paul after he heroically saved their community. Lead Paul and the Sasquatches with the forest spellbook using raw strength and potent powers. So this is definitely the Lumberwood starter deck, but let's see. I'm going to cut this extremely carefully. I'm just going to make a little slit, and that should be enough to get this packaging open. Yep, perfect. All right, now let's read this. Hi, y'all. Some call me Hodwug, but you can call me Leia. Forest was my first deck to play in Cryptid Nation, so it is dear to me. This tribal forest deck is special with Ohio Grassman. He has a power to give protection to your Sasquatches against attacks, so contract him right away. If you are behind, you have hiding in the thickets to give you more protection. Plus, Germinate lets you bookmark and contract another beastie for one less aura. Once you build your board state, your Sasquatch tribal boost will conquer the opposing casters. So you get the deck, the promo card, the metallic coin, the rulebook, and one booster pack. So let's take a look. I'm going to open it up from the top. We're just going to kind of, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to. perfect. Okay. Clean up the wrapper. All right. It is open. Let's see what. All right, right away here is our Paul Bunyan card, our booster pack, the rule book, and actually no, this is the rule book. This is like a map. And then I think we're supposed to get like a, oh, here's the coin. So here's the coin. It's got Paul Bunyan on the front and the Metazoo logo, but it's a cool coin. Wait, is this like actual? It's from 21st edition. It does not feel like plastic either. All right. So as I said, and we get another Paul Bunyan card in here. And they're not the same either. This is our holo rare. And this, I'm guessing, is the it's the same card, but like, is there a difference between the two? Huh. Interesting. But let's take a look at the deck here. Sometimes you can get these in one shot. Yeah. There we go. All right, yeah, we're gonna slip this out of the sleeve. Boom. So yeah, we've got Paul Bunyan. There's the Ohio Grassman. We've got the Billy Whack Monster. The Skunk Ape. Growth, which is Power Up Red. Hiding in the Thicket is the ability they were talking about. Bookmark. New Beginnings. Lightning in a Bottle. Lightning in a Bottle. Lightning in a Bottle. Grand National Park. Forest. Forest Aura. Forest Aura. Forest Aura. But not too bad for a deck. So definitely, well, as I said, we're going to put the contents back in the box, so we'll have it. We're going to keep the box. Of course, the deck is going to go back in here. The rule book. And, of course, the the coin in there too. The coin is actually not plastic. It is legit. And it's a cool one too. But not bad. This was only $10. Somewhere in there, this starter deck, so. But let's open our booster pack, because that's what I'm most hyped about. Alright. And this is our first pack of the Wilderness. So let's see who we get. The Explosive Rabbit. The Glastonbury Glaucus. The Muglon Monster, Title Pull, the Chibi Jackalope, Witty, the Phantom Car, Token Sitter, Old Man Winter. Not bad. Not bad indeed. But some of these are real, as I said, this is from like when Metazoo came out, and not bad at all, as I do say so myself. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end my live, so thank you all for watching, and I'll come back on probably in a little bit